We're following breaking news first at 4. The national vaping crisis has taken a deadly turn here in Michigan. New information on the impact. Also, Local 4 cameras were on the scene of a fire rescue in Detroit. We'll tell you how 3 women and 1 man were able to make it out alive. Definitely feels like fall outside right now. We're going to see some rain in the next few days. Will it affect your weekend plans? Andrew will have that. Hey, Paula.
This is a really important weekend for birds, bees, and butterflies. Our season isn't over yet. So we're with our garden guy. We're going to explain what you should and especially should not be doing this weekend and for the next 2 weeks.
Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Good afternoon. I'm Devin Skillian in for Karen this afternoon. That breaking news first at 4. We are learning about Michigan's first vaping death. A man has died from a lung injury linked to e-cigarettes. Kimberly Gill in the newsroom with more as the concerns over vaping just continues to grow, and it's because of news like this, Kim.
Yeah, they really do, Devin. Good afternoon to you. The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services confirmed this afternoon that a man in the state had died, but they won't say where he's from for confidentiality reasons. But here is what we do know so far. The man who died was an adult, and the state was notified about his death on Wednesday. The state says 30 confirmed or probable cases of lung-related illnesses linked to vaping have been reported in Michigan since August. The victims range in age from 16 to 67 and all live in the lower peninsula of the state. Across the country, there are nearly 1,100 cases reported so far and 18 deaths. In almost 3 out of 4 cases, patients reported vaping THC. As you know, that's the active ingredient in marijuana. As doctors scramble to pinpoint what exactly is making people sick, state health officials say the only way to stay safe is to put the e-cigarettes down.
You are an e-cigarette or somebody who uses vaping, you should seek medical attention if you get symptoms such as shortness of breath, chest pain, cough, fever, or nausea and vomiting. Those are signs that perhaps you may be developing this disease and that we urge you to contact your healthcare provider.
Yeah, and you'll remember Michigan actually became the first state to ban the sale of flavored e-cigarettes. That went into effect this week, and Governor Gretchen Whitmer is already facing lawsuits over that. So we'll keep working the story, and we'll have more for you actually coming up later tonight on the news at 5. Until then, we'll send it back to you in the studio, Devin.
All right, Kim, we'll see you then.
Sure.
Well, Detroit firefighters had to act fast to get 4 people out of a burning home. We were on the scene as it happened this morning at a home on Wilshire near Outer Drive in Chalmers. 3 women and 1 man between the ages of 16, or ranging in age from 16 to 59, were trapped inside. Firefighters rushed upstairs. They were able to take the women out through a window, and then they found an unconscious man on the lower level. All 4 had to be treated for smoke inhalation. Family behind a popular business vowing to pick up the pieces after an overnight fire there. This is the aftermath at the Country Smokehouse on Van Dyke in Almont Township. The market and deer processing plant was in the middle of a 36,000 square foot expansion. So there was construction going on when the fire broke out. The owner says, though, the fire is not going to keep them down.
The time I got here, there was 23 fire trucks here, 6 departments. It was they did save the building, but it's still pretty much a loss in the building there. But we plan on rebuilding it. We've got a great staff, and they're all ready to tear into it.
Which is very upbeat, but the fire really couldn't come at a worse time for the family. Coming up at 5, the roller coaster emotions that they've been going through this past week. Well, we're now on day 19 of the UAW strike against General Motors. No deal. Leaders from both sides back at the bargaining table today, but no updates really on whether or not they've made any progress in their recent meetings. When and if they do, you'll hear about it first here, both on the air and on clickondetroit.com. As we head into another weekend, we are definitely going to see some football weather tonight. Let's check in with Andrew Humphrey, who's in for Ben tonight. What we expect this weekend, Ben?
Devin, you're exactly right. I mean, we have clouds overhead. It is cool and crisp out there, but perfect for all the football players out there heading to Friday Night Football later on this evening. A couple of sprinkles here are trying to join the party, but not very many of them. Sure, we have mostly cloudy to partly sunny skies. A couple of raindrops here on the camera lens, but it is mostly dry out there. Really no threat of any showers for tonight. 54 cool to chilly degrees out there, so grab those jackets as you head out this afternoon or this evening, whether it's for football, show, a dinner, or who knows, maybe all 3. 52 right now, a little bit chillier for our friends over in Pontiac, and temperatures dip into the 40s, even 30s later on tonight. Staying away from the freezing mark, but you'll still need those jackets and coats for tonight. We'll talk more about where temperatures go for tomorrow and your weekend coming up.
All right, Andrew, we are starting to see how President Trump is going to defend himself against the impeachment investigation. He is framing his request to both Ukraine and to China to investigate the Biden family as a crusade against corruption. Democrats in Congress call it an abuse of power. But the president tweeted this morning, and this was the quote, "As president, I have an obligation to end corruption, even if that means requesting the help of a foreign country or countries." He stuck with that theme while speaking with reporters today.
We're investigating corruption. We're not investigating campaigns. I don't care about his campaign. As I said, I didn't think, and I don't think Biden's going to win.
But it is illegal for any person to solicit or receive anything of value from a foreign national in connection with a U.S. election. However, we should also note an impeachment inquiry is not an actual legal proceeding. If the president can sway public opinion, you would expect he can put political pressure on lawmakers, but right now the president says he is going to ignore White House subpoenas until the entire House of Representatives votes on impeachment. And the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, says no such vote is necessary. So a very complicated picture right now continues to be muddied in Washington. More tonight at 5, including new subpoenas for Vice President Pence. New developments just coming by the hour today, so we'll have more at 5 o'clock. Hollywood is mourning the loss of the Oscar-nominated Trailblazer Diahann Carroll. She won critical acclaim as the first black woman to star in a non-servant role on television. She played a nurse on the show Julia during a turbulent time in America in the civil rights era in the 1960s. Carroll won a Tony Award. She was also nominated as Best Actress for the movie Claudine. In the 1980s, she was on the glitzy show Dynasty, and the guest roles continued into this century as well. Her daughter says she died after a battle with cancer. Diahann Carroll, a real pioneer in the entertainment world, was 84 years old. New numbers show unemployment has hit a 50-year low, but we are also seeing some slowdowns that analysts are going to be keeping their eyes on. The U.S. economy added 136,000 jobs in September. That's a modest amount. It does bring the unemployment rate down to 3.5%, but hiring did slow a bit, which shows employers are a little cautious about the economy right now. Pay growth has also weakened, so we'll continue to follow the comings and goings. And watching Wall Street, though, which has reacted pretty favorably today at last check. It's the season to get your yard cleaned up for fall, but while you're raking leaves and bagging up all that yard waste, leave the flower beds alone. Our Paula Tutman visited with one of our garden experts to clear up the myth, perhaps, that can be hurting our local birds, bees, and butterflies. Paula?
You can feel the chill in the air today. And so I know it feels like our birds, bees, and butterfly season is over, but it isn't. Take a look right here. Like, look at this. You see these guys? Look at these bees. Now they're really slowing down, and that's kind of how it is for us. Our season might be slowing down, but it's not over yet. Slow-moving bees pulling the last bit of nectar they can before disappearing for the season. So when you do your garden cleanup, what do you do?
We just get rid of the junk.
At the Sylvan Lake home of Jack and Nancy Hunger, beneficial wildlife never goes hungry. They are very deliberate in planting food sources. Once upon a time, as the plant life died back, they would cut it back.
There's a lot of raking involved and just getting the loose junk out of there.
But they've learned.
We've become more aware of what nature likes to do. We've become a little more friendly in paying attention to that.
What you're doing is you're mimicking nature, where nature doesn't go around and prune all the bushes.
The wonderful thing about this time of year is if you have a garden to attract birds, bees, or butterflies, do nothing.
A lot of the flowers, for example, coneflower, etc., you want to leave them throughout the winter because they have the seed on them that also provides habitat for birds.
The monarchs are on the move. They're the last of the butterflies you'll see. And while they aren't looking for milkweed, they are looking for food to help them along their long 3,000-mile journey to Mexico.
What butterflies need now, more than anything else, is nectar. Right now, people are starting to think about cleaning all their gardens out, taking all the flowers out. I'm saying not to do that. We still need to keep the flowers out there and keep the gardens there as much as possible.
But there is a window that's quickly closing. While now is the time to find great perennials on sale, you could ostensibly build your birds, bees, and butterfly garden for next year for like 50 to 75% off. Half off isn't a great savings if the plants don't survive. They need time to set root.
What happens is these roots do not have a chance to grow into the soil. So in the winter, what actually happens is they get heaved out of the ground.
Tim Travis, our garden guy from Goldner Walsh Garden and Home in Pontiac, says if you buy sale plants now, make sure you ask advice on how and where to plant them. And so this is a great example of what Tim is talking about, because you probably have something like this in your yard and you're going, all right, this is done, time to go. But Tim says, look at this. There's still nectar in this. This is like dessert on the menu. And animals can still use this, our beneficial insects, birds, bees, and butterflies. So just leave it if you can until next spring, then get rid of it. Paula Tutman, Local 4.
Advice, Paula. Our garden expert, by the way, also says if you do catch perennials on sale right about now, you do have until about October 25th to get them safely into the ground, but ask for a proper planting location advice before making the purchase.